Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of Rooted Podcast. So, obviously, I got a little different scene behind me going on here. And just to give a little update, where I usually record this podcast is now being turned into my baby's room. So, y'all don't know yet, but here I am announcing it. Me and my wife are expecting a little baby girl, so we are super excited about that. And so, uh,
Yeah.
oh yeah, it's gonna be amazing. But where I was is now being turned into her room. So, my area there is a full blown construction zone. So I had to move shop into here and kind of take over the living room for a little bit. But that's okay. That's it's for a very good reason. So we are super excited and very blessed that we are able to bring a child into this world and hopefully don't screw up too many times. But so anyway, that's what's happening here. So you guys can expect this for, I'd say, the next 2, 3, 4 maybe plus episodes. But eventually, I will get me a better background and things of that nature. I just have to wait for the construction zone to kind of leave. But other than that, we're going to start this thing off right. Ben, per usual, I'm sure you have some awesome words for us, my friend.
Oh, yeah. We're in the book of Psalms, chapter 113. We're going to dive in right here at verse 1. Praise the Lord, servants of the Lord. Praise him. Praise the Lord's name. May the Lord's name be praised now and forever. May the Lord's name be praised from when the sun rises to when it goes down. The Lord is higher than all nations. His glory rises to the skies. There is no one like the Lord our God. He sits on his throne high in the heavens. So listen to this, guys. Look, we are not perfect. I am not perfect. I can sit here and read this to you, but the only thing that makes me a good man is Jesus Christ because, look, I'm just going to be real with you. This past 2 weeks, I have been not as in the Bible and not praying as I usually do. And what that is the devil is trying to come at me and break me and stop me from talking about Jesus. He's trying to break my spirit and make me feel like I'm not good enough to do that. And I'm not. I'm not good enough to share the gospel on my own account. But through Jesus, I can because he has given me the clean slate, wiped me perfectly clean, and I'm seen as an innocent lamb. So we have to praise the Lord. He is all around us all the time. And, praise him from sun up to sundown. And what I see in that meaning is, good, bad, indifferent, everything that happens, every situation you come across in your life, praise the Lord. Because even in trials and bad situations, there is a reason for it. Whether it's guiding you a different way or whatever the reason is, there is a really good reason for it. And God's plan is perfect. We don't need to question it. I know we all do. I do all the time. I'm like, okay, God, you put this on my
Mm-hmm.
heart to do this TV show and this podcast, and then I quit the podcast and John was like, no, dude, you got to do it. And then here it is again. So, you know, I know that God has a plan for us in what we're doing. Sometimes I think God is teaching me a lot of patience because you know as well as I do, John, I want everything yesterday. I've always
Oh
been
yeah.
that way. I've always been that guy. It's like, yes, I'm going to do this and I want to be the best at it tomorrow, you know? So, but it
Yeah,
takes time.
I feel you. Hmm.
It's all growing pains, man. So regardless of what situation you're in, or good, bad, indifferent, just remember to praise God and keep his name on your heart and above everything else. The way this should work is God, your wife and kids, your friends, or excuse me, your family, and so on and so forth. That's how this should be. So keep God
Yeah.
at the top and in the center of everything. And listen, when you do that, even those hard times are not quite as hard because he gives you a peace that is unsurpassed by anything else. So there's
Well,
that, John.
listen, you talk about the good, the bad, and the indifferent.
Mhm.
And let me tell you, we had a lot of that going on whenever me and you got together at the Sinking Creek Ranch and decided to go after some deer with the old smoke poles. And you know, listen, there was some good, and then there
Mhm.
was some bad, and we had a little
Yeah.
bit of indifferent in there. And we're gonna deep dive into all that. Um, Look, I'll just be real honest with you. I'm just gonna cut straight to the chase. I was self filming, and then
Mhm.
Ben and Ryan were hunting at a different place, or in a
Mhm.
different field, not at a different place. And anyway, I'm sitting there and I'm filming. There's about 4 or 5 does out in the field, and then here comes this funky looking like 5 point young deer, year and a half old, whatever, 2.5, whatever he was, young. And then I'm staring at this other buck, you know, and I mean, here steps out this big old 7 pointer. I was like, oh my gosh. And how I had the camera set up, the camera actually caught him walking out of the woods. I did not see him until he was already out in the field eating. So I had my binos up and I'm looking at this deer. And then I just look over and see this freaking mongoloid of a thing looking at me. I'm like, oh, well, okay. Who are you? So I throw up the binos and I'm sitting there watching him, and he's not broadside. He's either looking at me, looking away from me, quartering away, and I'm trying to figure out how old this deer is because I know, especially at that ranch, what we try to do is get mature whitetails on the ground. Didn't care about the antler size. I just wanted to make sure I got an old, mature deer that was ready to go. I didn't want to shoot a big, giant 3-year-old. So, and listen, really quick, if that's what you want to do, fantastic. I have farms that are brown it's down farms, and that's okay. And some farms I hunt are not. So, anyway, I'm trying to judge the age of this deer. And by the time I realize, I'm shooting this deer, he's huge, his gut sagging, big old like brisket. I'm like, this dude is cool. And a really cool feature that I like is right in between his shoulder blades, he had a white patch. And I just had never seen that before. I thought that was really just neat, added a little more character. So, anyway, by the time I finally decide to shoot this deer, I go, okay, I literally say on camera, like, I'm fixing to shoot this deer. I literally do. As soon as I click that muzzle loader hammer back, it goes click. Like, a fraction of a second before that, he darts in the woods chasing after the does that eventually they just fed out of the field and into the open woods there. And he just chased them. And I never did get a shot at that deer. Now, right after that, I was like, dude, I got to get that deer back in here. I grunted, I snort wheezed, and like 20 minutes later, this deer came back. But he didn't come back into the food plot part of the field. There's another part that kind of slants for the people that don't know, and it's tall grass. Ben just left it in like natural tall. That way, the deer felt safe, and that's exactly what this deer did. He came like halfway in that field, and he was looking in the food plot for the deer that was making all those calls. Of course, it wasn't a deer; it was me, and I never could get a shot on him. I could only see his neck and horns when he was standing in that field. And moral of the story there is I did not shoot because by the time I figured out that he was, old enough for me and the farm there, it was too late. But the best part is I get back to camp, because I walk from the lodge to the spot. It's not that far, and when I got back, Ben and Ryan were there, and they said, "Well, man, you know, how'd you do? What'd you see? All this?" I said, "Well, I got a good one on camera, boys. You need to tell me if I made a mistake by waiting too long, or the deer got away for a good reason." And it took Ben about all of point 0.3 seconds of watching that deer on film. Like, yeah, you should have smoked that deer whenever he came out. I was like, "Oh, good, that's fantastic."
Yeah.
So
So
yeah,
I
you know,
have
I
some
waited too long.
history. Yeah, I have some history with that buck. So let me preface this a little bit. So John left out the part that it had been raining all day
Yeah,
long, pouring rain.
yeah, that's true
And
too.
these deer came out as soon as the rain stopped, they hit those fields immediately. And so this is a big 7 point. And after this experience, we named him Patch because of what John had noted, the white patch on his back there in between his shoulder blades. But this deer is a big 7 point. He's at least 5 years old, all day, every day. So yeah, I was like, dude, yeah, you should have killed that deer. As soon as that deer stepped out of the bushes, I was like, yeah, dude, you should have killed that one. I knew exactly who he was. I have seen that deer, and last year, man, he was a good deer, but he ain't what he is this year. And I saw
Yeah,
him twice during velvet season. Never gave me a bow shot. He stayed about 90 to 100 yards away, and he did exactly what I told you he was going to do. They were either going to come
oh
out of
yeah,
that point that's right in front of you, or they're going to come from the
hmm
far back end of that food plot
yeah,
where the Daikon radishes are. I mean,
yeah,
that is their two main spots. And back during velvet season, if I would have been smart, I could have just hopped right in that shooting house, because sometimes, especially during early season, they will walk right beside that shooting house and go right to the point in that field. It just depends on the day. And I thought, well, with it being August, they're probably still going to be hitting these minerals. And, the food plot was okay. It wasn't what I really wanted it to be at the time. But, actually,
it is
no,
now.
buddy, it wasn't even planted then, actually, because I didn't plant that
Oh,
thing till
okay,
September. So it was nothing
okay,
but a mineral hole. And no soybeans. There were some soybeans in there that were left over because the
hmm.
deer ate them so bad that they were just picking through the field. So there was a little bit of beans left in there and the mineral site. And that's it. That's all we had. So I thought, well, the beans are so sparse, we need to go sit in this tree stand. And yeah, if I was sitting in the shooting house, one of the bucks would have gotten shot
Hmm.
or shot at anyway. But I am glad that they are doing, what I thought they would do, which is come from that corner, come out, and they did. They came
Yeah,
exactly from that corner. Looking at that video footage, man, and something super cool. You know that big buck over there named Splits that has the split in his ear?
hmm.
He
Oh yeah,
back. He's back again. Splits is
gotta love when
back.
that happens.
Tell all your friends, because guess who's coming to get
Or
him?
don't, because we want to get them. Yeah,
Yeah, we don't tell nobody. But the boogeyman's coming. That's me or John. One of us two, the boogeyman. We coming.
yeah. Listen. I really love this time of year. You know, you may get bucks back that you haven't seen in a while. You may get a whole new buck that's only on your farm for 5 to 10 days
hmm
because of the time of year, and he's just chasing,
Yeah.
and you got some hot does. My brother down in South Georgia, he was going after this big, huge 12 pointer, and then when that hurricane came through there, he left, and just today he's back on my brother's camera. So,
hmm
and dude, he's swole up. I mean, his neck's every bit of 20 something inches. Like,
Yeah.
oh gosh darn. So my point is, dude, you just never know, man. You just gotta hunt. You just have to hunt hard and get after it, because,
Yep.
dude, we hunted a lot over that weekend there. We hunted.
hmm
That was, well, I was there. I didn't get in until Friday night, but we hunted, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday morning, and all that. And the only shooter, we only saw one shooter, and it's like,
hmm
it's, man, you just got to get after it, man. But you just never know this time of year. That's why you just have to go. When in doubt, dude, just go.
When in doubt, sit it out. Sit out in that stand, man. Just
Yeah,
go. Because
exactly.
I guarantee you one thing: you're gonna see zero deer on the couch. Guaranteed.
Hmm.
Unless you're watching your
Yeah.
smart cams, those cellular
Yeah.
cameras. That's when you can start like, okay, yeah, I'm watching deer, but you can't kill them. So you got to be out there
Yeah.
in
It's
the bushes
pretty rough.
with the bucks. So, man,
Getting
I'm
it,
just,
man.
I agree with you though. I really love this time of year because, man, it's rifle season. Breaking
It's
out the
coming.
old smoke pole this weekend. I say the smoke pole. That's more of the muzzleloader. I'm shooting the meat stick this weekend. The old meat gatherer. Oh yeah, those bucks skirting at 100 yards. Well, they can hang that up. That's not gonna happen no more. And we got a
Oh
new
yeah.
gun this year to give it a try from a buddy of mine. He did a little sponsorship deal, and we got us a Seeking 6.5 PRC that is topped with a Night Force scope, and we are going to lay the hammer down on some deer. So you just get
Awesome.
ready, Johnny boy. This weekend it is about to go down
Oh
like
yeah,
four flats on a redneck's mud truck. Oh yeah.
buddy, all day long. And what's really exciting is whenever you can get into this time of year with the rut coming in, or not even coming in, the rut's here. Like we're at the peak of it, or at least rising to it. And then on top of that, you get a cold front and then a little sprinkle on top. It's a crisp morning. You know what I'm saying? It's not windy, rainy, crappy weather. It's just cold, clean, crisp air. Oh, dude, you want to
Yes.
talk about good air for your lungs, my friend. That's
Ooh.
exactly what you need. Cool, crisp air.
Oh
Uh
yeah,
oh.
that fresh
I've been talking. It
air
looks like we done
rolling.
lost Benjamin.
Oh, I'm back.
Where'd he go?
I'm here. I'm here.
He gone.
I'm looking at you, bub.
Let's see what's happening here.
Hello.
Sometimes this happens, guys. You got technical difficulties.
I'm looking right at
This
you,
is
Johnny
just
boy.
part of life.
Hello.
Let's see. We'll get him back on and we'll start talking about all sorts of stuff. This weekend
Yeah.
starts rifle here in Tennessee. We're going to go back to the ranch and see if we can't connect on a good deer. I mean, we had the muzzleloader hunt happen. Dude, that 7-point was a hammer. I mean, shoot, dude, a sure enough hammer, man. Let's see if he can get back on. But we hunted, let's see, Saturday morning. I don't know. I didn't see anything Saturday morning of the opener of muzzleloader there. I think Ben saw like a little buck and some does. Then that evening's when I seen that 5-pointer of them does in that big 7 patch. It's Sunday morning. I'm trying to think. I think I hunted with Ben Sunday morning. And after I hunted with Ben, I think we saw,
Yeah.
what did we see? I think a little buck and some does both Sunday or morning and
Yeah,
evening.
we did.
And then Monday morning, I don't even know if we saw a deer on Monday.
Yeah, we saw one
I don't
deer.
remember.
One
We
deer.
may have seen one or two, but oh, excellent. There you go. Well, Ben is back, folks. Ben, hey, look, this is life. Technology
Oh yeah,
happens.
we're
It's okay.
freezing up again.
We're just going to keep on trucking. That's all.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Well, hey, this is just life. Good news. So look, Ben lives in the boonies, y'all. I'm in the middle of flipping nowhere. But good news. Fiber
It's
internet is
coming,
coming his way.
guys.
They're digging
It's
the
coming.
trenches, baby. They're coming.
Cannot wait to get that fiber internet at the house.
So
I never thought that
yeah.
living where I live, there would be no such thing as fiber internet. But now we have it and we are ready to rip. They said they're about 3 months out, so we'll see what happens. But John, back to what you were saying. Looking forward to this weekend. We have a lot of bucks moving from the food plots to
Yeah.
the top of the mountain. Everything that we've got going on right now is
Yeah.
pretty special, but something cool that we're going to do this fall
Oh yeah.
after I say this fall, later in the winter after deer season is over,
Mm-hmm.
we are going to bring a logging crew in and open up a bunch of food plots on top of the mountain. So that will be pretty dang cool when we do that.
Yeah, dude. It's gonna be incredible. It's gonna open up a lot more hunting
Yeah.
for us, give the deer some more
Mhm.
room to roam and more stuff to eat up there and feel safer up there too. So it's gonna be good, man. I was telling the people, I don't know if you got to hear or not, I was just telling them how this weekend, I really love whenever you combine the rut with cold weather, but especially crisp, cold,
Mm.
clean air, not rainy or sleety or nothing like that. Not that those are bad times to hunt. I just really love when I'm sitting in a tree and I'm breathing in that clean, crisp, cold air. It just does something
Oh,
to
I
me. You
agree
know what I mean?
100%. And look, it is the peak rut is happening. We're on the uptick of that bell curve. So we've got the pre-rut lockdown. We threw lockdown because I didn't see any bucks on camera except for the 1-year-olds and 2-year-olds for about a week and a half, 2 weeks. And now all the muchachos, the big boys, they're showing back up and they are there every
Yep.
day. And it's like, okay, we're finally getting out of that lockdown phase. And I think this cold front is really going to help us because it's going to be in the 30s all weekend long. So those deer should be up, should be
Oh yeah.
moving. It's not 85 degrees, which is fantastic. I love the cold weather. I get so tired of the heat. It's like, bro, we're almost in December and it's 80 degrees
Yeah.
last week. It's like, what? What are we doing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
This is awful.
yeah. Bring back
Yeah.
cold winters. you know. But hey, look, yeah,
Yeah.
we're getting a
Exactly.
good cold push this weekend, a good cold front, and I really think that it's going to help our success in the field while we hunt this um peak rut activity for the opening rifle season.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. The biggest thing that I'm seeing now, like on this new form that I'm hunting, I've noticed a lot of rubs are popping up, a lot of scrape
Mhm.
lines are coming. Like it is right. So man, I don't know about you, dude, but I really do love hunting a rub line or it's a scrape line rather, and just getting after it, especially after rain.
Mhm.
Whenever they come and check them, it's pretty cool to watch a deer scrape and check scrapes and you know trying to remark its territory. Dude, I had a stud of an 8 pointer uh, show up on that new farm. I've never had him on camera before. Not that I've been there long.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's a new farm, but uh, it's just exciting, man. It's a real exciting time. I will say though, I don't think I'll get to go back out during muzzleloader, so I really have to really remember to shoot that thing
Mhm.
before I put it up.
Mhm.
Otherwise, I'll forget like a big dummy, and it'll be really hard to get that thing
Yeah,
off
which
in about a
reminds
year
me,
from there.
I've got to break mine down. I was supposed to re-sight it in today, but I did not do that. I did not accomplish that task.
Mhm.
But it is rather rusty, so I need to break it down and clean it really good tonight and get that baby back in full function and order. Because, as you know, Sinking Creek Ranch, we sell deer hunts, and we have some clients coming in this weekend. They're coming in a day early, so what are they going to use? My muzzleloader,
Yep.
because gun season doesn't open till Saturday. But muzzleloader season is wide open and
Yeah.
slinging lead right now. So we've got to make sure that puppy's sighted in. So it'll be pretty good for them tomorrow, or not tomorrow, Friday. Yeah, no, they are coming in tomorrow. So we'll be hunting Friday.
Now let me shift gears here and kind of go back to the
Hmm.
whole aging deer thing. Whenever that deer came out, and it was obviously I didn't watch it come out. Um, the I was lucky enough the camera got it perfect. I was just dumb luck. I was not even paying attention to that deer until I turned my head and saw it. But whenever you're
Hmm.
aging a deer, what are you looking for? Like what's one of the first thing or two that you're like, okay, let me see if this deer's old enough. What are you looking at?
First thing is their belly. A lot of times, an older, mature deer looks like they've got a basketball hanging in their belly region. It's just because they're old and that's what happens. A slight sway in the back. Sometimes it won't be as noticeable, and they're going to be the most dominant deer in the field. Sometimes they'll even be bullies and push the other deer around, especially the younger bucks. They're going to push those younger bucks around and like in the states that you can put out corn and stuff like that, I've seen these deer in those situations. The big old mature bucks, they'll come in and bully all the other bucks around, and then they leave so they can just sit there and gorge themselves. And another key thing to look at on a deer when you're aging them is their neck. So if a buck comes out and it looks like a doe with antlers, don't shoot it. That is a 2-year-old deer at best. If it comes out though, and it's got a straight line from the bottom of its jaw to the tip of its brisket, that is one of the things you look at to determine, okay, is this a mature
Mm.
deer? And along with the big belly, big old sagging belly, their legs are going to look shorter than all the other deer in the field because their body cavity, their torso, or I guess it would be called a torso, their thoracic cavity is just bigger. It's crazy how it works, man. But you know
Hmm.
how it is when you look at like a 1-year-old little buck, looks like he's got giraffe legs, and a tight little belly line. And when that big daddy walks out, it looks like a big old bear coming out of the woods, short stepping, like he's got little legs, because his mass of his body is so much bigger than the young buck. And that is what you're looking for right there. Scrap the antlers, because I have seen a 3-year-old buck have 10 times larger antlers than a 6-year-old. So don't even look at the antlers. Don't even look at
Oh
them. Don't
yeah.
factor it. Look at the body, the neck, belly. I mean, that's what you got to look for in those deer.
Hmm.
And I'm not perfect. I mess up sometimes, but you know, if I have any doubt in my mind, I don't shoot it. I just don't pull the trigger. Especially if I don't have cell service. Now, if I have cell service and I can phone a friend and shoot a picture to him and say, "Hey, look, I'm
Yeah.
thinking about shooting this deer. I'm not sure though on the age." They're like, "Yeah, dude, that's 5-year-old." Well, okay, sweet. Boom, dead. If they're like, "I don't know, man," I would
Yeah.
just not shoot him. So my rule of thumb is, in that, if you're ever in
Oh
doubt,
yeah.
let them walk. Just let them walk. You know, that's, I mean,
Yeah. Exactly. Well, and it all
yeah,
depends on the
it does.
situation.
And it also
You
depends
know.
on a lot of factors, actually, because you have some farms that your neighbors all the way around you are going to shoot whatever walks, right? And that can be really hard to manage and grow mature deer, because in the rut, guess what? They're going to the neighbors. They're
Hmm.
going to cross the property lines, and they're going to get shot. If it's a 2-year-old, 3-year-old buck that has a giant rack, they will get shot. Nobody, if they're not practicing the herd management that you are, then it's really tough. But now, if you've got a large piece of land, it's a whole lot easier
Yeah.
to do that, because the deer are actually living on your farm. They live there, they sleep there, eat there, drink water there, everything.
Hmm.
They stay there.
Yeah.
Um,
Exactly.
but you know as well as I do that a big buck can travel up to 3 miles or so radius of your farm during the rut. So hopefully you have enough does to keep him on your farm long enough to snag him before he moves on to somebody else's. But anyway, that's how I
Hmm.
would age a deer: is belly, back, neck,
Yeah.
and if it's a doe with antlers,
Gotcha.
just let him walk. I mean, if that's what you're trying to do. If you're trying to manage, if you're just meat hunting, do whatever you want to. I don't care. I'm gonna be proud for you either way. I'm just saying, on my
Yeah, for
farm
sure.
or our farms, we like to see how big they can get. I mean, like we've said before, not every deer is genetically inclined to be a Boone and Crockett deer, but we can, you know, just see what they're going to be. Like this one back here, old chocolate horn right there. He was a 6-year-old,
Yeah.
and he was the
Yeah.
smallest one brought back to camp, but he was still a 6-year-old deer, very mature. Never would have gotten any bigger than that right there.
Well, and no, and like that
Mm-hmm.
7 point I saw. It's he's not the biggest that
Mm.
comes in that food plot, but it's like for me. look, and a lot of people are going to see that deer, and be like, well, dude, well, I wouldn't even think about it. It's like, okay, but you got to really think, like I am not on my farm, on I'm on someone else's farm. They have a management program, and by the time I realized that he was probably old enough, he obviously went chasing does because women ruin everything in all sorts of
Yes.
facets of life.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding, but my point is, and to what you were saying, it's like, dude, if you have any doubt, it's like just as I would I liked that deer getting away way more than if I had shot it and realized when I got up to it, like, oh, dude, this is only a
Mm-hmm.
3-year-old deer. Versus now, look, had that been on a farm here at home, I'd have smoked that deer, not even thought about it. But it's so much different because on one farm, the property owner, the only reason I have permission to hunt is because he wants them gone, so he doesn't care. So it's like, all right, well, it's just free game on if it's a deer, it gets shot. And then on another farm, uh, there's a lot of hunters, and a lot of them will pass like the little ones, spikes, 4-pointers, 6-pointers. But if it's a nice 2.5-year-old 8-point, it's getting shot. So it's just like either you shoot it or someone else is
Mm-hmm.
going to. So every farm's different. You just have to know where you are and what kind of the rule of thumb is, and so when in doubt, dude, just do whatever you think is right. And in that particular moment, that for whatever reason, that deer was not supposed to die for me. So I'm sure this weekend, someone probably going to have a crack at it, if I had to guess, with just the temperature that's going on, the food that's there. It's got rained on again. I'm sure it's still
Mm-hmm.
growing great, plenty of food. It should make for a good weekend. But so that's pretty much all I've got as far as the age goes. But you know, you just gotta you just gotta do whatever is right in the
Mm-hmm.
situation, and you can only make a decision with the information you have right then and there. Because there was no calling Ben, buddy.
Ain't
That
no
ain't
cell
happening.
service. No
Not
cell
there.
service.
Ain't nothing there. I would have loved to have sent a picture and be like, dude, can I shoot this deer?
Yeah.
But you know, it is what it is. That old deer, he is still kicking to this day. But I'm if I had to guess, I'd say his days are numbered. If I had to take
Yeah,
a stab
because
at it.
one of three things is going to happen. The clients are going to kill him, you're going to kill him, or I'm going to kill him. One of the three is going to happen.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
yeah,
So he's just got to
exactly.
show up and participate.
Yeah.
You know, if he wants to play, we've
Mm-hmm.
got, awesome
Oh,
rewards for that. It's called a skillet.
yeah. Hey, look, it's time to pay
Hey,
rent,
they've been
baby.
eating on my soybeans and food plots long enough. Listen, I'm Uncle Sam, and I'm coming to collect taxes, and that tax just happens to be meat. So, yeah, got to pay it in blood, Bubba.
There you
Pay
go.
it in blood. Yeah.
So, what kind of rifle are you shooting? I mean, I heard
Yeah.
the new one. So, are you doing that? You doing the
Mm.
300 still, mixing it up, or
Dude,
just
I'm gonna
just
have to
straight the
just
new
go
one?
straight to new one. It's pretty spectacular. It's a
And what is it
Seekins.
again?
PRC 6.5 PRC
Hmm.
with a Night Force scope on top, and I've got
Hmm.
a. I can't say my buddy's name, but I can
Hmm.
just tell you that
Sick.
I am very thankful for the sponsorship of that gun. It was, dude, just truly humbling. Um, you know, it was super kind of him. It was awesome. So,
No, that's
yeah,
awesome.
man, I am
Yeah,
very
man.
excited
Sweet.
about it and ready to put some deer on the ground.
Yeah, man. I will be shooting the Savage Model 111
Woo!
30-06 bolt action. That deer had that deer. That rifle has put some deer in
Mm-hmm.
the dirt, dude. So I'm hopefully we can tally up
Yeah.
another one. Obviously we got some really cool content we're filming. Things are
Yeah.
happening there. So it's going to be a fun-filled weekend full of picture taking, video taking, deer
Yeah.
slaying. So I'm just hoping it all comes together and we can get a lot of stuff accomplished, which I'm sure we will. I'm sure things are going to happen, and I'm really hoping that man, I'm just really hoping that we get a good deer on the ground or
Well, we're
three or
gonna give
four.
it our best shot. I'll tell you that. We're gonna hunt. We're gonna hunt hard. Um, you know what
Oh
we're
yeah.
actually gonna do is we're gonna do one thing that I have not done on that farm yet, and we're gonna hang a tree stand and hunt out of it the next morning. So when you get there on Friday, on Saturday midday, me and you are gonna slip off and hang a tree stand, and you know exactly where I'm talking about. It's real close to a power line.
Oh
And
yeah.
I have had a whole
Yep.
lot of good bucks uh, coming through that are really on the verge of daylighting, and two of them have daylighted twice.
Hmm.
But we're that's where we're headed this week. So this weekend we're gonna hang a stand, single man
Nice.
ladder, hang it up right there. I mean, dude, there's a road that goes through the woods, and those deer come up both sides of that ridge and go straight out. And there's a scrape right there in the middle of the road. And this spot is so far off the grid, I guess if you want to call it, that there is absolutely no cell service there.
Yeah.
Not even the cell cams work. So I have to use the old Wise Eyes just as a stagnant
Mm-mm.
camera because there is nothing. So I just have to pull the card and look at it. Even
Mm.
man, that's the only place that I have found that the new ones don't get service. Everywhere else on that farm, even in the valley, the new ones get great service. That's the only spot. It's like a super dead
Hmm.
zone. I don't know what the deal is. I thought, well, we're higher up.
Yes.
Maybe it would
Interesting.
get some service there. But crazy thing is two ridges over, I have perfect cell service on the cams. So I'm like, man, that's so weird. It's just weird. That, yeah, super weird.
Interesting. Yeah.
But for whatever reason, right there where that particular spot is, no service on nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you'd have to have a satellite phone to
Hmm.
call in there. Yeah.
Yeah. One of them Elon Musk
Hey,
Starlink
listen, if
deals.
Elon
Yeah.
Musk ever listens to this,
No doubt.
look, we need a Starlink for each of our deer blinds. That's what we need is Starlink.
Yeah. And
Yeah, and
personally.
personally, but I want one for my truck and for my house. But you know, I want
Yeah, dude.
yeah,
All I need is a
yeah,
little mobile
yeah, just a
one to
little
take
mobile one.
with me.
But I want a little mobile one that goes on each shooting house, so that way I can have communication with clients. It's like, oh yeah, man, look at here, we got Starlink. So you just sign in, and when you're sitting in that stand, I can see what all's going on.
You can watch
Yeah,
the ball
baby.
game.
We'll put TVs in them rigs. We'll be watching dang Tennessee play.
Nah.
Speaking of that, did Tennessee win the other night? I
Hey,
didn't finish the game. I fell asleep.
no, no,
Dang.
no, 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 no. They lost. They didn't even score in the second half, but
Dang.
it's tough. Hey, look. As we hardly ever talk sports here, so this is kind of fun. But uh, at the moment, Tennessee, Georgia, and Bama, they have the same record. They're probably all going to end up 10-2. And then this whole new playoff thing is super fun. At the moment, we're the first team out of the playoff just because of how the brackets work and all the different conferences and a certain amount of people have to get in from each conference
Mm-hmm.
and all this stuff. So, but if we beat little old UTEP, which we should do, and then beat Vanderbilt, hopefully that'll be enough to slide us into the playoff. And then all you got to do is get into the dance, and then they'll let you.
Yeah.
So you know that's just part of the rig, man. That's just part of the
Yeah.
gig. So, you know, what you gonna do? But that is one of the best parts about camp is getting back from hunting, and having a good old, home cooked meal, watching a ball game with all the dudes. That's a
Yeah,
that's a
it
fun
is. And
time, man. I highly suggest
yeah, and I'm
everybody
gonna
does
just
that.
throw this out there. So when Tennessee beat
Yeah.
Alabama, my brother-in-law Cody but he is a huge Alabama fan, massive. So I called him, and he didn't answer, of course, because he knew what I was about to say. And all that came to my mind and flowed from my mouth when his voicemail came up was good old Rocky Top. Hey, Rocky Top, Tennessee. Yeah, I couldn't help it, dude. I had to sing Rocky Top right into that voicemail, and he loved it. I was like, "Hey, Bubba, you with this the rest of your life. You married my sister, so here we go."
Yeah. Hey, man. Look, the Crimson Tide had a lot of years over the Vols, so
Yeah.
y'all can let us enjoy a couple
Hey,
wins here
look,
recently. That's all I've got to say about that. I will
we ain't
take a
even gonna
win when I
talk
can get
about
one.
Auburn, buddy. They are not good this year. It's embarrassing. But guess what? I'm still an Auburn fan. I will always be an Auburn fan. But they have so them and Tennessee
Yeah.
switched places. It's like
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Auburn did good for a little
Yeah.
while, and now we've
Exactly.
just went bloop right back down to the slums of the football world, back to the back state. Just not good, man.
Oh yeah.
Yep,
Bottom of the
that's
barrel,
where
my
old
friend.
Auburn's sitting, is right down there at the bottom. But I will always be War Eagle. Hey, always gonna pull for my Tigers. Absolutely. But I do like the Vols too now, I ain't gonna lie, because I live here in the great state of Tennessee, and my dad's from Tennessee, so gotta pull for them Vols, man.
Oh,
Got
there
to.
you go.
Gotta pull for them. Yeah, buddy.
Well, look, it's a good thing that they hardly
Yeah.
play each other, so
Hey,
you ain't
I'll
got to
cheer
worry
for
about
both teams. I'll paint my body, one side
Yeah.
Auburn, one side Tennessee.
The hell half
Yeah,
and half.
house
Oh
divided,
yeah, by God.
but it's
Yeah,
gonna
there
be
you go.
body divided.
Yeah. That'd be great. I can't wait to see that. We got to
Hey,
make
don't
that
take me over
happen.
the good time. I'll do it. I'll do
Oh
it.
yeah, I
Absolutely.
hear you. Oh, I know. Well, look, speaking of a good time, man, I'm
Yep.
excited for this weekend. Um, I sure hope if you are in Tennessee that you have a great opening gun rifle season
Hmm.
there. And if you're anywhere else, I hope the hunting's good. I hope the rut's on. I hope you shoot the biggest buck of your life or whatever makes you happy. That's all I hope. But man, other than that, all I've got, Ben, is just kind of the standard, uh, telling everybody that we do have a shop, rootedtelevision.com. Go to the shop link. We got some sweet new hoodies. We've got sweatpants for this cold
Hmm.
time of the year. You guys can bundle up in some rooted gear, get you some hot cocoa going, sit by the fire, watch a Christmas movie, do all
Mm.
that stuff. Um, I mean, we got that going on. Of course, I really do appreciate y'all wherever y'all are listening. Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, Apple. We're also on
Yeah.
Carbon TV, which that has been super awesome. I really do appreciate everyone
Yeah.
over there at Carbon that puts us on and then that
Hmm.
listens, watches. Man, it's
Yeah.
so awesome. You know, it's really cool to see because, and you know, I don't really like talking about accolades or being the best or being whatever. But last I checked, we were tied with the highest podcast rating, carbon score. I guess is what I'm trying to say. So that was super cool to see that like, hey, people actually really enjoy this. So I really do appreciate y'all for that. As always, like, share, subscribe. We're on every social media thing everywhere. So Ben, anything to tell our
Yeah, I
fine
don't know if
folks
you
here?
mentioned it or not, but in the description there's a link if you want to make
Mm.
donations to this show to keep it going. Links in the bio. And with that, the redneck is out.
See y'all.